All right. So please type something in the chat box if you are here. Welcome. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. New May issue. It's a good one. I actually was only able to get mine yesterday, but I've been reading it since. Okay, pop out. Oh, Robert, Uhuru, welcome. So I'm going to pop out this chat. We can get started. Jake Scott, welcome. Great, y'all are here. So just before we start, I know that y'all got the number, like the call-in number stuff on if you signed up on the Eventbrite and whatnot. Because of the way the video works and stuff, I have to actually have it muted on here, and I can't have the call going on because it's pretty distracting. So once we open up for discussion, I'm going to call in on my phone, and then we can take questions and whatnot. Yeah. So we can take questions after that. So I have a little bit of an agenda here, which I'll just read through before we get started. All right. So the first thing we'll do a little bit of an intro, talk through a little bit about the movement and the paper. Then we're going to do a reading. So the reading will be the point of the spear, which is on the 8th page. Yeah, page 8, the centerfold. It's long, just like last week. It's another part from the Chairman's Political Report. Chairman's Political Report. There'll be a little bit of an analysis, which I'll open up then to discussion, and we can discuss. Y'all can ask questions and whatnot. Great. Get your friends. Yeah, and then if we have like more than 10 minutes left at the end, then we'll do another article. But there's plenty to discuss. Okay, so I'm gonna put this here. And yeah. Okay. So right. So the first thing is USM. So USM, the Uhuru Solidarity Movement, is hosting this event, and my name's Connor Voss, and I'm the national secretary. Is there going to be a comment section? Yeah, I mean, you're in the comment section right now. Is there not a comment section there? You can type your comments here. So that's how I can see your comments. USM is the movement, the mass movement. And when I say mass, I don't mean it's gigantic. We have about 300 members right now. And but it's just a larger movement of white people working under the leadership of the African People's Socialist Party, which is the primary political organization that's guiding this work. It's African working class people leading the struggle for self-determination in their own communities around the world, wherever they may be. So we're the group of white people. So if there are any white people, and there should be, who are interested in working under African leadership to fight colonialism and imperialism, this is the only group I've found that's really doing that. And I looked for a while for a group that would be doing that. So that's who we are. As I said, I'm the national secretary. The Burning Spear. So this is the Burning Spear study. Here's the newspaper that I have here. And the Burning Spear is the oldest, longest-running revolutionary African-led... Oh, someone's trying to get on the YouTube. So this is the oldest, longest-running revolutionary African newspaper, and it was started in 1968, and then shortly after the party was founded, which was in, the paper was in 68, the party was founded in 72, and then the Solidarity Committee was founded in 76. So Chairwoman Penny Hess, who's the chairwoman of the white woman, working under the party's leadership, has been for decades doing this work. That was founded in 76. So that's kind of the timeline. And now we're many years later, and the mass movement is growing and growing, and we have branches. We have full branches in Seattle and Boston. We have smaller groupings of people in the areas of South Florida, here in New York, and Gainesville, Huntsville, Alabama. There's plenty of them. We have some people in Germany. We have some people in London. Okay. On to the reading! So if you open up your paper, last week I was on this side. Maybe I'll be on this side. This is a chat. The comments scroll away and you don't see the comment section below. Maybe I'll copy it and just use the chat. I'll copy them down into the comments afterwards. After the video is done. Okay. So there's a lot of articles in here, and we'll go through them in the different studies in the coming weeks. But okay. So I'll open up. Centerfold. We have Comrade Diakiese here. Amazing. Dance classes. Thumbs up for dance, for Uhuru dance. Okay. So, the point of the spear. This is the article we'll be reading. The party's economic work. Political and economic are one. This came up yesterday in a video I was doing. So crucial. Political and economic are not divided. They're not separate things that can be looked at separately. They are tied intimately. They're the same thing. Okay. Point of the spear. The following is an excerpt from Chairman O'Malley's political report to the 2017 African People's Socialist Party plenary. The report provides a summation of our work for last year and guides the 2017 work of our party as we put revolution back on the agenda. This is part 4 in the series of 9. Political and economic are one. 76, I was in high school. 76 was, well, I'm not going to reveal my age. But I was not born yet. But it's lovely, Robert, that, you're here now. Okay. The economic work of the party has made tremendous leaps, even since our 6th Congress. The office of Deputy Chairwoman Ona Zane Yeshitela, that's her down there. Deputy Chairwoman. Ona Zane Yeshitela has been most effective and conscientious in carrying out the mandates coming from the 6th Congress political report. Not only has the Deputy Chair transformed the economic work, she has taken literally the understanding of our party's slogan that the economic and political work are one. Since the Congress, she has struggled to bring the economic work to virtually every committee and department of the party. Both our 5th and 6th Congresses mandated this. She has introduced the science and discipline required by our economic institutions to every area of the party and demanded implementation. She has taken organizational and economic training everywhere possible within all the structures of our party and movement. More than any other area of the work, that of Deputy Chair Yeshitela demands emulation. Every area of party work has benefited from the leadership of the Deputy Chair. In part, this is because of her fidelity to the political reports and mandates from the party, our congresses and plenaries, but also because of the constant utilization of our organizational manual and other directives that she helped to organize or developed. Another thing that has influenced the impact of the leadership provided by Deputy Chair Ona Zane Yeshitela is the fact that the economic work, by its very nature, demands concrete manifestations of success. Smooth talking, filibustering, or plain old bullshit won't suffice. Yes, it says bullshit right here. Bullshit won't suffice when you're doing economic work. Economic work and running institutions demand planning and concrete results. This approach to leadership has benefited our party in virtually every facet of the work and helped to create a disciplined infrastructure throughout the organization. Almost all our institutions are thriving under her leadership. They have broken through what appeared to be barriers of stagnation that existed before her leadership, took them to new heights, limited today only by lack of availability of competent cadres. The next section, African economic self-reliance. In addition to the ongoing development of the party's economic activity, other areas of the mass work are also adopting economic development institutions. They too will flourish if the leaders of the work take full advantage of the expertise offered by the office of the Deputy Chair, and if the leaders are prepared to do everything necessary to succeed. The party's economic institutions are not only significant for what they bring directly to the party and party-related organizations and committees. They are also important for what they bring to the masses of our people, beyond the possibilities of employment. Our economic institutions are also important for what they represent to the psyche of Africans who may have lost collective self-confidence as a result of the cruelty of colonial capitalism that denies Africans the ability to easily initiate successful life-creating or economic ventures. Bullshit won't cut it. Kristen agrees, Uhuru. Our economic institutions speak to the possibility of Africans to achieve economic self-reliance, to be in charge of our own affairs. So being in charge of your own affairs is political. The economic and the political are one. Again, the economic and political are one. Our economic institutions speak to the possibility... Oh, we already read that. Every day that a young African passes our fitness center, or one of our furniture stores, or experiences our food and pies enterprise, walks into the door of our consignment store, makes a purchase of clothing from our clothing store, reads our newspaper or hears our radio station, that African experiences a sense of self-capacity and self-worth that is constantly under attack by his or her normal existence as a colonial subject. The party's leadership must still be one to fully understand the relationship of our economic work to the struggle for the total liberation of our Africa and the forcibly dispersed African nation. Our cadres must take over leadership from the solidarity forces who still coordinate many of our older institutions. So that's true. Many members of the Solidarity Committee are still involved in leadership positions in the party's institutions, some of which were listed here. And we're undergoing a process of shifting those people out of those positions so that Africans are leading those. Great. This is helpful to understand the organization, says Jake. Yeah, understanding these things is really, it really helps us understand how, in material ways, we can, as white people, participate in these organizations, and how the party has a real deep strategy for doing this. So, and Robert says the best and brightest politicos and economists are clearly doing a great job. Right? Yeah. I mean, there are a lot of people that don't get the importance of the economy and the political, the material stuff, the self-dependence. You can't do an economy for someone else. You can't make economic development for another community. The community does it themselves. They have to. Self-determination is the only way. So, I mean, the party would contend, and I think it's really true, that the failure of the economy in this state is to do with the fact that it depends on a group of colonized people, a nation of colonized people that are now rising up and seizing back their own independence in a struggle. So, yeah. The crisis will continue. Okay. Now I'm talking a lot. Okay. Walks into the door of the consign. Many people think of revolutionary work. We're here at the top of this column here. Many people think of revolutionary work as comprising only the adrenaline-pumping anti-colonial political demonstrations or the organization to push back the state after the latest atrocity committed against our people. But comrades, all politics is concentrated economics. We struggle not for the sake of struggle, but for the ability to wrest away from our oppressors, the ability to fully engage in the production of life. We are fighting for the ability to feed, clothe, and house ourselves as a nation, to have the advantage of the value we have created for our oppressors, to change the material conditions of existence for our people. We struggle to end our relationship to capitalist parasitism, to end our relationship to the voracious, blood-sucking economic system that requires our permanent political and economic prostration for its success. Uhuru, yeah, that's real. That's true. Socialism is the early stage of communism. Our economic work is the most revolutionary work we are engaged in. Our political work is work to help us achieve and maintain the ability for our people to acquire a better material existence through liberating the productive forces of our nation. The same rules of discipline apply within the sphere of our economic work as they do elsewhere. The same sacrifices are required in pursuit of our economic objectives as elsewhere. No greater responsibility can be found than in the concrete, quantitatively measured work to raise up the conditions of the suffering colonized children of the African nation. We must do the political work to enlist the masses of our people, and in our case, the masses of white people. They're doing clearly a great job as the... Yeah, I know you're being sarcastic. That's what I was saying. There's clearly contradictions in the way that they're leading. I'm in the comments here. Yeah. Back in 08. Kalunda, Uhuru! Welcome. Okay. Getting distracted. We must do the political work to enlist the masses of our people to conscious anti-colonial participation in our economic work. So for the white community, that means enlisting white people, our friends, our families, in the anti-colonial work that the party's doing under their strategy. Some pseudo-leftists have criticized us, claiming that this work means that we are capitalists. They would have African people remain as starving, unemployed dependents of colonial capitalism. What they do not seem to understand is that capitalism is when the means of production are privately controlled and owned and controlled by individuals and corporations that extort surplus value or profit for their own benefit. None of our institutions fit that description. All of our institutions are truly owned by the people through the party, not by any individual. In fact, socialism is that early stage of communism, before the total elimination of the state, when the workers who produce value... So now we're moving to page 11 to continue the article. Just one page here. Continuing. So what did it say? Socialism is the early stage of communism before the total elimination of the state, when the workers who produce value have socialized ownership of the means of production. Socialism does not mean that production no longer occurs. It means that now socialized production is socially owned. We must win the masses politically to support our economic institutions, these embryonic manifestations of an independent anti-colonial African economy. Uhuru. But we must also do more to lead our people in our approach to economic self-reliance and political self-determination. Organizing independent economic activity. That's the next section. Our desperate colonial plight has required Africans to engage in what is often called, quote, informal or quote unquote underground economic activity. This has included everything from established markets that allow independent vendors to provide goods for the people at lower prices, to baked goods and other food sold from our homes. Sometimes Africans utilize mobile shops from the boot or trunk of their cars. I mean, however you can, you have to survive. This is how we liberate an economy. You know, the point is that there is very, very little capital circulating within our colonized communities, seen by the colonial rulers who regularly do everything possible to Africans, expropriate land used for growing food, etc. We must give serious consideration to organizing this independent and promote the safety of producers, products, will help us protect the vendors and producers if the vendors and producers will agree to the imposition of safety, pricing, and courtesy. Gentrification. I mean, it's colonialism. It's not gentrification. It's the chairman. It's the video. Is it not working? How's it going? Okay, let me move this. Maybe my Wi-Fi is not so on it. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. Let me know when it's working again. We got to make sure that everyone can see this. Tired of working for white self. Is it working? Great. Okay. Y'all hear me. Got some people trying to come on in. Baytosh and Jay. Okay, well, I hope they make it. Seems fixed. Okay, great. We were talking about Harlem and DC. Need to change this video. Okay. Seems fixed. Great. Well, we'll continue. Uhuru. Okay, good. I think it was my phone was in a, my Wi-Fi was in a weird spot, so feel free to let me know. I hope you're comfortable wherever you're sitting, in a revolutionary comfort. Okay. Harlem, New York, and Washington, D.C. are two of the notorious examples of African population removal euphemistically called gentrification. Throughout the U.S. and the African world, Africans are experiencing a deliberate policy determination to disperse the African population as an assault on potential concentrations of black economic and political power. There are a number of ways we must organize our people to fight back against this assault. They include political mobilization against the state-controlled, so-called social benefit programs that provide assistance for Africans in distress, providing that they move out of their communities as a condition. So it's not much of a choice, really. You know, stay in your communities and don't get any help, or we'll help you, but you have to totally leave behind your community and the area where you're living. I mean, we know that that's genocide, forcing someone out of their homes. Cooperative, next section, cooperative socialist influenced economics. We must remember that we occupy many communities today because whites of the colonizer nation deserted the, quote, inner cities during the height of the Black revolutionary tide of the 1960s. The fact that white people are coming back to the cities now is an indication that they see so little revolutionary anti-colonial political activity in our communities that they assume it is safe to return at the expense of our people. This should be statement enough about some of what must be done to reclaim our communities. Africans must be influenced to combine with each other to begin grabbing up properties that have been abandoned and degraded in our community, as part of the process of chasing us out, undermining property values and opening the door to vultures from the colonizing nation to easy, cheap acquisition. This is happening in Florida, actually. A number of the comrades that I've worked with in the Solidarity Movement now live in a house which is owned by Black Star Industries. And I know that in the party, I know the Agitprop department with Comrade Temba and Muteba are living in a house. I don't know if it's still happening, but this is part of the party strategy, buying up Black, African people buying up property. And gaining control of the land and the real estate. And yeah, that's a huge part. So that's what is being talked about here, and it's actually being practiced materially. I'm thinking about, trying to, work under the party's leadership to do something like that. Because right now, I have a African landlord, but I would love to be paying my rent to African independent economy. That sounds pretty great to me. If you have to pay rent, because of that. Okay, anyway. Back to the reading. Continuing. We must help the people to understand that groups of Africans coming together can begin to acquire property in the community through economic cooperation. We can also create housing and other kinds of economic cooperatives. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Well, what the chairman's talking about. This can be part of a foundation for cooperative socialist influenced economics. Our political task is to teach the people to be contemptuous of any kind of dependency. Moving forward, the Office of Deputy Chair must consider how to expand our anti-colonial economic leadership beyond the immediate institutions of the party. All our party leaders and most of our committees and organizations must incorporate this message into our propaganda. This will help to truly ground our work for the long haul. It will help to give our work the kind of strategic approach necessary to win because it keeps our vision fixed on the economic objectives of our political work. And this is really economic justice. Good deal property. That's where it's at. Yeah, I mean, property is part of our economic structure. It's a huge part of how Americans, North Americans, Europeans, white people have come in and seized control of the production of life of the indigenous people in this land and incorporated enslaved Africans into that oppressive colonial system. Property has played a huge part of it, I mean, some of the earliest reparations demands involved property as their central demand because African people have always known that property has been central to the way that this system exerts itself. Okay. Office of the Deputy Chair, right. Propaganda. Okay. This will help to truly ground our work for the long haul, to give our work the kind of strategic approach necessary to win because it keeps our vision fixed on the economic objectives. We must also develop the ability to, we're right here. We must also develop the ability to host community meetings throughout our base areas within the U.S. and elsewhere that teach Africans how to deal with basic economic issues. This should include everything from how to do personal and family budgets to how to initiate businesses, including business plans and the acquisition of startup capital by collectivizing resources or of individual savings, etc. The Office of the Deputy Chair should also develop a proposal that would call on members and leaders of the party and our mass work to spend time in our economic institutions. This will allow the entire party and movement to understand the relationship of the economic work and the institutions to the political agenda of the party. It will also contribute to the permeation of the discipline and organization inherent to the economic work throughout the party and all our institutions. This is like selling spears. Like, when you have to go out and sell spears as a white person, you start to understand the relationship between economics and politics. When you have to sell something to someone, when you have to exercise trade and talk about this stuff, it really deepens your relationship to the discipline that economic work requires, which is what all of this political work is. Last section, Impedum, the party's most visible mass front. Impedum stands for the International People's Democratic Uhuru Movement. Impedum, Uhuru, is the mass organization directly under the leadership of the party that is the main instrument for leading our mass work. Over the years, Impedum has been troubled by various contradictions. Our appointment of Impedum's current president, Kalambayi and Annette, Kalambayi, amazing. Her videos, I study her videos, like, they are so amazing and revolutionary and winning. Has been one of the, I think I said that in the last video too, I really have a lot of respect and salute Comrade Kalambayi. Has been one of the most exciting developments for advancing the party's program for mass struggle in recent years. She has been responsible for a significant leap in the membership growth of the organization, which, along with the Uhuru Solidarity Movement, that's us, the Harue Solidarity Movement account for hundreds of our new members in our mass work. In addition, Impedum, with the assistance of the Office of the Deputy Chair, is negotiating the purchase of a property in St. Louis that will provide our party movement with another Uhuru house. So right now there's an Uhuru house in St. Petersburg, Florida. Beautiful, amazing. Salute President Kalambayi. Yes, salute. Kalambayi's incredible. And for someone who's had a number of her relatives have been murdered by police, she is totally standing up and saying, fuck that, I am here. I am here raising my children, raising my family, raising myself, putting the work forward, putting the work at the front of my life. Such an inspiration. I learn so much from her videos, absolutely, every time. Yes, oh my goodness. Well, I have to just say, when I went to the Black is Back rally in Washington, D.C., which is the area that I'm from, I met Kalambayi, and I was like just so starstruck because I'd seen, not starstruck, like I salute her. I really have so much respect for her work. And she came up to me and she was like, I saw, I know that you're a new force. She knew immediately who I was. It was so incredible. And she's, I know you're an artist, and I just wanted to say this revolution is going to, I'm an artist too, she said, and this revolution is going to be cultural and artistic, and it's an art form, and it's all this. And she just won me so immediately. Like, if we have comrades like that, there is nothing that we cannot do. Like, that is what I'm proven over and over again by the comrades that I meet, the party members. Like, so winning, so powerful, so urgent. Are we still on? Oh, yeah. Just checking. Okay. We're almost done. I gotta wrap this up. Okay. Kalamba, responsible for... Okay, that's us. Purchase of St. Louis Uhuru House, yes. It would house economic institutions and an office in the Midwest that will grow our influence over there. Insert subhead. Harue. Harue copy editor. I see you. There are contradictions, however, in the Impedum work that require our most dedicated attention to resolve. The primary issue is the reluctance of Impedum to properly utilize the Impedum branch building manual for its conduct. There's that manual. We talked about that last week. Manuals. The primary issue is the reluctance of Impedum to properly... Right, we just read that. Sorry. This has meant that too much of the work relies on the personal participation of President Kalambayi for continuity and success. Additionally, the entire Impedum International Executive Committee must be allowed to play a greater role in the operation of Impedum. This will allow Impedum to grow much faster and its leaders and members to become more competent in carrying out the mission of Impedum all the time. Our organizational strength relies on the development and commitment of our cadres, our fidelity to the mandates and resolutions of our Congress, and, in the case of Impedum and other mass organizations, our fidelity to holding our annual conventions and conferences. All our organizations must also utilize, including USM, including us, including whiteys, including white folks, including North Americans. All our organizations must also utilize the organizational manuals designed specifically to help members, leaders, and organizers to carry out our work at every level of our party and structures. This is our strength, the informed, democratic participation of every member and leader of our party and movement under centralized leadership. It is an unbeatable formula that we must adhere to in order to be victorious. Uhuru! This is such a powerful essay, really. Thank you for following along and reading with me. I hope you guys are following along still there. Excuse me. So you hear, especially in this last section, a lot of... We're going to move into discussion in a second. I need some water. Every time I have stuff, I'm like, where's the party's version of it? Like, we need some bougie company made this water bottle I've had for a while, but I want an APSP. I want an Uhuru water bottle. Okay. So you hear, as I said, what's Kalambayi's first name? Kalambayi is the comrade's first name. So her first name is Kalambayi. Her last name is Andanette. You can find her on, whatever. Facebook. She's on Facebook. And a lot of her videos are there. You should really look through them. When you have a second, go through her videos because they're really, really good. Some of them are long, but I'll watch the whole thing because it's so winning. It's really great. Okay. So as I said, here you can see a lot of what the chairman was talking about in the last thing that we read last week, which is the use of manuals, organizational strategy. You are so awesome, comrade. Oh, I don't know if that's towards me, but thanks. Uhuru, I salute you for watching. Jake, I hope I get to meet you and work with you soon. Okay, so manuals, stuff, organization is just so crucial. The strategy is how the work moves faster and more efficiently throughout the masses. So we have to stay trained in the manuals. And if you are reinventing your committee and your work every time you have to do it, because you don't have a manual or you're not using a manual, it's going to slow you down and make you less efficient. So the criticism of not using a manual is just for the sake of the work to be done. You got to use a manual. You got to have that. And especially organizationally, because we're young and we're building. I mean, we're young and we're old. We've got all these things. But I know in the work that I've been doing, sometimes you have a young group, and so you really have to use those manuals because people are shifting positions because it becomes clear that so-and-so's skills are better used for this part of the work. So you need manuals in order to facilitate that kind of thing. What are some other things? I mean, the two places listed here, I don't live in Harlem, but I live in the New York area and DC, where I used to live. The ways in which gentrification are happening in DC, particularly in the Shaw neighborhood, and Danette. So in the American Western alphabet, it's spelled A-N, let me see, A-N-D-E-N-E-T. It's listed here. I'll show you. Is it there? Ooh. Okay. Got banned from Facebook for life. Oh my goodness. Well, they don't need you. You can organize outside of Facebook. Facebook's got some anarchistic bougie shit going on, so you're probably fine. Well, I'm glad you're here. So, yeah. So in the Shaw district, which is where, which is the DC area that's around Howard University, Black community in the past 5 years, all these developers, I'm sure it's been going on for a lot longer than that, but certainly in the past 5-10 years, super colonization of that area by white people coming in, young people who are just not educated. It's not that they're malicious. I mean, maybe some of them are, but I stand strongly that there's unity in everyone, and these people just don't know. They don't understand this stuff, and that's why we got to bring that to them. So I'll best believe in a couple weeks I'll be on that. I'll be right outside those high-rise buildings when they got new people coming in, being like, "Hey, Whitey, have you ever heard of the Burning Spear newspaper? It's right here. It's $1. I'll give it to you." Okay, yeah. So Kristen just said Columbai's videos. A lot of them are shared from the St. Louis branch. Okay. What else we got? Organizing independent economic activity. Yes. So this is really this is geared towards the party's work, but it speaks immensely to the work that the Solidarity movement is doing. Our work is, the foundation of our work is reparation, is economic justice, is economic development for African communities. Because we have to understand as white people that there was something in here that I wanted to, it was in the first part. I'm jumping all around. Thanks for bearing with me. We have to understand that a lot of things that we consider our own value, when we make a paycheck, we have to understand. She's on the Burning Spear YouTube channel too. There you go. So we have to understand that when we make a paycheck, when I make a paycheck and I'm doing some administrative work on my computer, this computer was built by materials sourced from working African people. So that paycheck in part is due to the labor expropriated from Africa and the materials, the coltan, the cobalt, the minerals mined out from below the feet and communities of working African people that has been owned and seized by white companies, European companies, and then sold to me, and then I get to use it, and then I get to be productive. If I'm extra productive because of some coffee I drank, which has been sourced from South America, the indigenous people, the indigenous land, and African people who are working. So all of that productivity, all that economic stuff, all my paycheck, all the money I get, that stuff is owned by African. It should be in the hands of African working people who made it possible. But they are selling their labor. They do not own the production. They do not own the means. White people own that. So we have to start to view the world through those eyes. We have to start to view the world through those things. And that's an economic view. We have to view our economic relationships in terms of that. Okay. Is that all I want to say? Did I write down any other notes? Skills and African people produce so much of the world's skills, the majority really of the world's skills and resources. All our stuff is built on top of that. So we have to understand that even though we are doing something over here and we have control of our behavior, it's bolstered and supported by this huge mass of toiling African working class effort that forms the material basis. Africa forms the material basis of so much of what we do. Ooh, thank you. Do you mean that Kalambayi is on the channel right now? She's live? Or does that just mean that she's her videos are listed there? You can write that. Okay. Okay, so I wrote, your computer is a blood computer. So that's what I was saying. That these resources have been stolen. So the economic work that we do under Comrade Casey's leadership in the Solidarity Movement, and Casey works directly under, the the deputy chairwoman, Onozune Yeshitela. Oh, see, there's Kalambayi. Kalambayi right there. DC Ona. So our economic work is done right under the deputy chair's office. So that's the connection that we have to the party. They're listed there. Okay, great. So you can go check those out. I've never met Onozune Yeshitela in person, but I really look forward to the day. I hear people talk about her because she holds everyone to such a high standard of, like, you have to have an action item and it has to be assigned, like budgets, this and that. Not in a cruel way, but in like a very clear, like, things don't get done. Like, you can't afford to be lazy and disorganized about this stuff. This work is disciplined and organized. We're fighting an incredibly organized system of white imperialist power. We have to fight back. Okay, that's it. I'm done with this. Reparations is a revolutionary demand and the only way for white people to join humanity. Yeah, that just reminds me, like, some white people say they're revolutionary. This is revolutionary. Oh my God, just wait till you meet the deputy chair. I can't wait. Oh my goodness. I'm going to St. Petersburg in July to help with the campaign, and that's where she is, so I'm going to meet her. Can't wait. Can't wait. I'll be like, Uhuru. So, Casey's doing great works. Okay. So, now is when, that was my opening of the discussion. I would love for y'all to share your questions if you have anything after the reading, or any questions about the Solidarity Movement. Put them there, or comments, So yeah, I'd love to call on Casey. You have a very winning stance, Comrade Casey, if you have anything else to share. Or some of the new comrades. Haha. Uhuru. Comrade Valerie, Comrade Robert, Jake. Valerie. You want to talk about it a little bit? Kalenda, I don't know if you're still on here. Oh, something that came up today, Kalenda. I'm critical for not getting back to Kalenda about this, but so as many of you know, in the summer, a lot of the pride parades happen. So gay pride, which is a very white tradition, really. There are black gay prides, but they're mostly outgrowths under, bougie white leadership. So the term that we use in the movement to talk about same-gender loving people is same-gender loving. So I would consider myself a same and opposite gender, I'm whatever, bisexual, anyway. So to get back to what we were actually saying, Kalenda I'm going to be working on an article about pride and white opportunism inside of the pride movement, inside of the white, because the original fighters for same-gender loving and trans people's rights were colonized people, Even the Stonewall riots or whatever, Stonewall uprisings were begun by working class African trans women and whatnot. So I'm going to be working on an article, and I would love all of your thoughts and feedback and stuff as I work on that, to write about white gay opportunism. And I know a lot about white gay opportunism, let me tell you. I used to work at a gay nightclub. I know about some white gay opportunists. Ooh, goodness. I have a lot to say. Okay, so Casey says USM is going to have a webinar in June called a web conference called White Solidarity with Black Power, No Pride in Genocide. What a catchy title. Because white gay people, just because you are gay, just because you like, I won't get crude, just because you like men and you're a man, or you like women, you're a woman, or you like some combination of genders or whatnot, you still inherit the wealth of the colonized nation. You still have access to that. White gay men have some of the highest wealth rates in their families because they're consolidating. They have access to marriage now. They can consolidate all their wealth. Gay white pride parades need to be challenged. Yes, it's true. Connor almost went in. I'm going to go in this article for the spear. I mean, white men, it is so... I mean, to say nothing of, like, all the more bourgeois... So, like, in terms of the bourgeois white gay stuff, there's a lot of stuff talking about, like, representation in the gay community. I know in D.C. recently, one of the gay bars, this whole scandal was unearthed. Because they put out one of the gay bars put out a... Oh my goodness, I'm supposed to go on the phone. One of the white gay bars put out, it was released against their will, that they had some email thread with one of their marketing people, and the marketing person had designed a flyer for the gay bar that had an African man on it, an African, presumably gay man, on it. And the owner of the bar, or the manager, was like, I don't know how to say this, but can you put a white person on the flyer instead? And this was like 2 years ago, and then it came out in the media. It came out like online, and it's been a whole like mess. Like, people are coming after this guy, and like, but let me tell you, the attendance of white gay men at the bar has not changed at all, and it just gets back down to this like representation politics. It's like, white people own the wealth, they control the resources, so. I mean, yes, there is a degree to which representation is important because it builds up a sense of self-confidence in African people. If the business is still owned by white people, white gay men, even if they're gay as all hell, they're still white and they're still part of a colonizer nation. And so those resources are still being built on this colonization effort. And so they need to be addressed in that way, not just like, I want a black guy, an African guy on my ad for white gay pride because that's how we include people. No, it has to be fundamentally changed. Okay. How lucky we have worked so hard to join the most oppressive military on earth. That's right, Kristen adds that, because this is something that gay people have fought for. Well, not all gay people have fought for that, Same gender-loving African people and Arabic people and Middle Easterners have never fought to be part of the military. It's just that fucking Bill Clinton, I don't know if I'm allowed to curse, Bill Clinton, the terrible colonizer Bill Clinton, co-opted that movement and involved it. I gave up on the phone after the first 15 minutes of hold music. Okay, let me do the phone. Let's do the phone. Okay, let's see. Sorry, got held late at work. I mean, people got contradictions, but tell your boss I got something more important to do. Okay, so I'm going to call in this number. Let's see. Let me pull up this. Eventbrite. Oh. How y'all doing? You want to keep posting questions, likes? We got 10 more minutes. We're not going to do another article. Let me pull up the call. Bad Connor. Is this the call-in information? Okay, let's see. I'm going to read it out so y'all can call in with me if you want. Be on the phone. 712 770 4626. Call. Freeconferencecall.com. You get to listen to some like slightly irritated white woman talking on them. 66 7766 70 Oh no, I hung up instead of pressing the. Oh my goodness, I had a long day. I've been working hard the past couple of days. Okay. Call in to discuss. What is the number and access? Great. Okay, I'm gonna do it again. 712-770-4626. Call. Listen to the white woman.
Welcome. This service is provided by freeconferencecall.com. Please enter your access code followed by the pound or hash sign.
776670. Pound.
If you are the host, press star now. Otherwise, please wait and you will be joined into the conference.
Please wait and you'll be joined into the conference. I'll enter my access.
Please announce yourself.
Oh. Uhuru, I'm live on YouTube. If you're on the call and you want to talk...
Alright, yeah, this thing's that will be interesting. Uhuru Connor.
Uhuru, yeah, so you have to have your, you have...
Connor?
Yeah, Harue, you have to mute your YouTube while you're on the phone.
Oh, shit.
Because otherwise we hear it and then it's weird. Is it just you? Is there anyone else on the call?
Are you talking to me, Casey?
Oh, wait, is that Casey or Valerie? No, it's Casey. Okay.
Me!
For a second, I thought you sounded a little bit like Valerie.
I'm on the phone. I'm trying to
Oh, you're both there. Oh, great. We got Casey and Valerie on the call. We got.
a couple seconds behind.
I'm a couple seconds behind.
Yeah, it's weird because the YouTube video is like way behind for me. It's like I see you talking, but I can't like hear you on the phone.
You can't hear me on the phone?
Your face? I mean, on the call. I can hear you on the phone, but literally on YouTube, you're talking right now, and like I can't. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is why I don't have the.
Look away, Casey.
You do, yeah, you have to turn off the video and just be on the phone, or, well, yeah, I don't know what you want to do, but, yeah.
No,
it was.
I'm gonna open up a new tab.
Yeah. Okay, so today we were discussing the political and the economic as one, and Casey, you're the chair of the economic development programs as part of USM, and you're also a cadre member. You're an APSC member, and you're involved in the Boston branch. So what are you working on right now that's really important for our comrades to know about? Yeah, and just, you can talk. You're so great at talking about your stance. Sorry, go ahead. Uhuru.
Will people be able to hear me on YouTube?
Yeah, I think people can hear you.
Okay. Uhuru, everyone who's tuning in, I'm really excited about one of the campaigns. So, Uhuru Solidarity Movement raises reparations to African people in lots of ways. The main way is like people become members of the organization, which you can be an organizer like Connor, doing these studies and putting boots to the ground, or you can just be a sustaining member of Black Star Industries. Just paying monthly, like whether you pay in a lump sum or a certain amount of money taken out of your account every month. We also have Days in Solidarity with African People, which is events across the country that host members of the African People's Socialist Party to win white solidarity with Black power and go over the history of the oppression of African people, and it's basically a salute to a future of African liberation, and it's also our biggest fundraiser for Black Star Industries, and it's what differentiates it between other fundraisers is because it's not about charity, which keeps power in the hands of white people and keeps the system intact, but it's about killing white power forever by putting it to the hands of an organization that is the only organization in the world that explicitly fights for the interests of the African working class to be free and to have all their resources back under their control for their benefit. Because anything less than that is really just keeping people dependent on white power. And but our biggest campaign right now that I'm trying to get even bigger, a campaign that I want to be a lot bigger is the Reparations Challenge. And we need to build a culture in a Uhuru Solidarity Movement where every USM member wants to take a reparations challenge. And I'm working really closely with Valerie, who's also on this call, who is helping us create a website and a logo, and I wrote an article about the launching of the website and the logo, and I also made a video version of my article, and this is all basically groundwork for this new campaign that we really want to grow, because we have to meet a pledge for $2,000 from the Reparations Challenge alone for the month of May, because we have all these different revenue streams for getting resources, for basically reversing the flow of parasitic capitalism and getting money out of the white community into the hands of the economic programs of the African People's Socialist Party. So, anyone that's listening that wants to take the Reparations Challenge, you should definitely take it, or you should pledge to help us meet our goal for this month of May, because, if we're not paying reparations, if we miss our pledge to the party, we're literally no different from the white left, which is a social force of white activists, progressive, and so-called communists that have always fought for our own perceived interests at the expense of African people. So we don't want to be no different from them. We want to show a new standard for white people that the African People's Socialist Party has defined, which is material solidarity. It has to be the blood money. It has to be the resources. So that's my announcement. Take the Reparations Challenge, and send an email to info@uhurusolidarity.org or to my own personal email, kcm2188@gmail.com, if you want to take the Reparations Challenge. Uhuru.
Uhuru, Casey. Thanks so much. That was really great. Yeah, I mean, all the things you said I unite with, the importance of reparations in the work that we do. Not just like, it's one of the important things we do. It's the foundation of our work. And all the organizing that we do is to build our reparations pledge. It's not the other way around. It's not that we're organized and then reparations comes later. Reparations is first, it's last, it's inside everything that we do. It's inside this study. It's inside what the chairman's writing. It's inside every committee that we do, every membership thing that we do. It's about reparations. And yeah, so it's just so important. And reparations is we have contradictions in our own lives, but reparations resolves them with us. And if you don't know what the word reparations means, we white people, #we white people. I just got a book that's really actually a terrible, terrible book. Let me see if I'm going to go get it. I picked it up at the library. Just because I wanted to read a little bit of what else is out there. This book is called Reparations for American Slavery. And is there someone else on the call? Someone left? Okay. So I just wanted to do some reading about what reparations meant to people. And like this book is just talking about a very discrete historical thing. Slavery, the enslavement of African people. So if you are curious about what reparations means for you, or like what size reparations, we do a lot of work around this. So, building your reparations challenge can be done with the work of the support of comrades like me and Casey and Valerie, who are really helping to build those programs and whatnot. Any skill that you have can be involved in this way. Is someone coming on and leaving or leaving? Who's on the call?
Oh, I'm sorry. That's just that beep is messages that I'm getting from on Facebook Messenger. I'm going to need my computer.
Oh, no, it's okay. Well, we only have 1 minute left. Are there any last things that anyone on the call or anyone in the comments wants to say? I'll give it a second. I know there's like a time delay.
Well, I just want to say that, I've been thinking of different catchphrases that really get white people to understand why our work is different than, fundraising for the ACLU or something like that. Because it's like, it's not just, we're not just raising money for things that are an endless reaction to horrible shit that is happening in the world, because that could just go on forever until the planet's destroyed by imperialism. Like, the party is building an economic base for an entirely new world. Like, just if you have ever gone to the Uhuru furniture store or the Tyrone Lewis Community Gym, you don't see capitalism. You see socialism. You get a taste of it. And I just, so the one of the catchphrases I've been thinking of is like, the only way to destroy the white power economy is build a black power economy. And that's exactly what the Uhuru movement is doing. And, as it grows, it needs the resources to sustain itself, and all these resources are hoarded in the white community. Millionaires, or just like average college students, just like sitting on so much wealth that what are they even doing with it? It has to go to a movement that is uniting African people. It has to go to the basis of a new economy where literally everyone will be housed, fed, and clothed. Like, can you just imagine that? That's what keeps me going. So that's what I really, it's so important that that's the main thing that we talk to people about. It's like the economic base of an African liberation movement, which is African liberation is the cornerstone of the liberation of humanity. Uhuru.
Uhuru. Oh, yes. Totally unite. Yeah. Yeah. That's great. So I don't have anything else to say. And on that note, so I want to go through a couple announcements just so that everyone's on the same page in terms of what's coming up. Tomorrow, we have our first worldwide members meeting. It will be at 2 p.m. And you should register on the Eventbrite. So if you registered already for this, you can register on the Eventbrite, the uhurusolidarity.eventbrite.com for that, and you can get all the call-in information, or hit me up, or message the YouTube channel or whatnot. So that'll be at 2 p.m. That'll be great, and we'll be talking. We'll be getting reports from every area of work in the National Steering Committee. So budget, economic development, membership, outreach, branch building, the Days in Solidarity, which Casey mentioned, which is our primary, besides the convention, is our primary, it's a speaking tour that the chairman and the chairwoman Penny Hess and a number of other party people are going to be on. Who else is speaking on the tour, Casey?
For DSAP?
For DSAP, yeah.
Well, it really depends. Like, ideally bringing the chairman and Penny Hess, but last year Boston couldn't afford, because the chairman has to travel with a bodyguard, and we couldn't afford an extra flight, so we brought an equally as powerful organizer, Yejide Oronmila from the African National Women's Organization, who's been in the party for over 6 years now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was really powerful because she talked about how she joined the movement more as an individual, and she just wanted to basically learn how to be off the grid and garden, and she wanted to learn how to garden. So she got involved in the African People's Development and Empowerment Project, which largely does community gardens and growing food for African people, food production in the hands of African workers, and that's all she wanted to do at first. And then she just talked about how the more she deepened her understanding of African internationalism, she just became this leader, and now she's the head of she's the president of the African National Women's Organization, which is the only revolutionary African working class women focused organization on the entire planet. So it's just really, really profound to hear from party members about their own journeys and how they took themselves out of the center to become leaders of the people and always put the interests of the people first. And yeah, so it really depends on who each city can afford to bring, because with the chairman you have to also bring a bodyguard because there have been so many assassination threats and attempts on his life, because the U.S. government and anyone that wants to keep the U.S. government intact, is threatened by him because he is the leader of the new world. Yeah.
The true free world. So that's a little bit of information. You can bring, if you're going to do a DSAP, or, we're talking to everyone who's doing DSAP, so I don't need to give you that much information, but coming to a city near you this fall in October and November, those will be the date of those, and I'll keep you posted. So the only action item, I have many action items for many people, but the action item for everyone that's viewing this right now is to put on your calendar next week, the same time. We'll be doing this again. We'll be reading another article. There's 3 articles left that we're going to go through this month. One is the front page article about the alignment between Trump's state and Obama's state in the bombing of Syria by Secretary General Kinshasa. The other articles that we'll be reading are the Unity Through Reparations description and interview with Ghazi and Comrade Ghazi and Comrade Jesse, about the campaigns which are going on, the mayoral campaign and the District 6 campaign. And the other one is, there's an article by Penny Hess at the back about the convention, which we will be going through, and just summing up and going back through. And I noticed today it has our names on it. You know, I've been in all sorts of papers for my dance work many, many times. This is the first time having my name in a newspaper has made me feel so amazing and special. I have to be honest. Even right here in this drawer, right under you, I got all these fucking bougie imperialist newspapers that my mom saved with my name because I, whatever, was following my dreams as a white dancer. But this newspaper is a different story. Okay, we're over time. So I'm going to put up the registration link for next week's study. It'll be on the Eventbrite, and I'll send it out to all of the people who have commented. So if you want to get it, I'll just comment here, and I'll send that link out to you, and then it'll be posted on Facebook tonight as well. So that is all that I have. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really, really appreciate it. It really is starting to feel like a community here. I really feel like I'm getting to know the viewership and stuff and connect with you guys on a weekly thing. So if you have any thoughts and whatnot, we're going to keep building. We're going to be a little better about the timeliness of that and of like putting out this stuff. And hopefully we'll have a larger and larger audience, a more mass audience, building out into the white community. I'm going to hang up on this phone call. And so thanks again for tuning in. Uhuru, have a revolutionary week. Have a revolutionary evening. Get some rest. Stay healthy. Drink lots of water. And, fight white imperialism. Like hardcore, fight it. Not with your fists, but with strategy and organization. I'll talk to many of you in the coming week. Hopefully you can be at the members meeting tomorrow. And I'll talk to you then. If not, I'll see you in a week. All right. Harue, take care.